Hey, what's up? We should be live. Let me know you can hear me well. Let's see everything works today. Hopefully we won't get too many technical difficulties like the last time. I'm going to close some stuff so that the computer runs a little more smoothly. Again, so sorry about the delay. Had a bit of a technical issue, but I figured it out fast. Sorry for the shaky screen too. Let me fix that. Can you hear me now? I think you should be able to, but let me try this. Okay. I think now you should be able to hear me. Just let me know. It's always hot in here, no matter how strong I turn the air condition on. Okay, good, yes. So thank you so much for being here. Today's going to be a bit of a different live stream. Let me bring up the reference photo because today's going to be a little more, I guess we'll kind of jump into it. What I want to do is paint kind of like I would off camera. Now I know this may disappoint some people, so I will apologize in advance for that. It's going to be less talking and more me working. At least that's what I'm going to try and do. I may find that I'm unable to, just because this is going to be the reference photo. It's a really nice one, very kind of mechanical in a way, perspective and all sorts of things at play. Hopefully I'll be able to soon open the window again. We won't get this annoying blinding light. But in any case, it's a picture I took in Georgia, the country. In this palace we visited in a town called Achaltziche. It's just a huge kind of fortress tower thing. I took a bunch of photos there, and this was one of them. And what I want to do today is start painting it from scratch. I have my paper here, and let me add a reference photo here too. And I'm going to start again from scratch. What did I name it? Just a second. Because I already have it here. What is this? This I can remove. So, I'm sorry, I'm just cleaning house here in the streaming software. Yeah, okay, so that's image 3. So I'll bring up image 3 here. So we'll have it here and there. Like so. And so yeah, this is going to be the reference for today. It's going to be a bit of a quieter stream. I want to really focus on just me painting it. Let me turn off the autofocus as well. I always have to do this manually for some reason, so... No need for autofocus here. Yeah, okay, so I think we're good. This is going to be my paper here. As you can see, still nothing on it. I'm going to draw the whole thing live, which is going to be a challenge. It's not the easiest scene to draw. I actually have here the references printed out so that I can refer to them, like actually look at them right next to me, but you can use the reference on screen. I have a black and white one and a colorful one. Now you can definitely use the black and white one too. You can find in the description box below the links to both, okay, so they're both going to be there. And yeah, this is it. Let me look at some of what you're saying now in the chat, and as more people come in, and we'll get started really soon. Again, I wanna look at some of what you're writing now, because in a moment when I start painting, I'll try and keep that on the low kind of, and really focus on the painting stage. I'm gonna also zoom out a bit. This is something I told myself I'll do for a long time now. Kind of do these live streams where, let me try something, here we go. These live streams where I'm kind of just working and letting you in on what I'm doing. What I did say is that I'll do these in addition to the regular streams. But this one's going to be as the regular stream. So let's see who's in the house. We have Justin Mesa, we have Petunia Posit. Thank you so much everyone for the good morning regards and everything. Christine Bourgeois, hello. Crispy, hello. Court Qua, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Good morning. This is the first time getting on with you, Liron. I'm in British Columbia, Canada, on Vancouver Island. It is only just 6 a.m. here, so getting up early. Wow. Thank you so much for being here. I'll try making this as entertaining as possible. Thank you so much, John. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Ambi. Hey, Dave. Hey, Court. Again, Rachel M. Thank you so much for being here. Much, much appreciated. Kelvin, how are you doing, my friend? Thank you for letting me know the audio's okay. How funny would it be if I've been muted for like 20 minutes and I wouldn't even see that someone tells me that? JJ, hey, how are you doing? Sophia is in the house. Of course, I am is here. David Figs is here. Hey, Dave, how are you? Let's see. I've been experiencing a huge art block today, says Sophia. I made coffee, sat in front of my painting, and was ready to really push through it. Great companion and support to see this notification. Yeah, thank you so much. And it's all mental, really. It's all in the mind. And if you just push yourself to start, you will probably be able to produce something cool. So yeah, let me fix my own camera here, my face. I will I keep forgetting how to do this. Yeah, transform, and 1 second, you'll have to bear with me here as I get rid of the left side a little bit more, because I don't need all that space there, and a bit of the right side too, like this, just so that you have more room to see the actual reference photo. Now I hope that doesn't influence this angle. Yeah, good. Okay, so we're good. So I'm gonna get started with the drawing process. It's gonna be silent again. I'm gonna try and focus more on the getting things right and accurately. I'll try, however, to make sure that you actually see what I'm doing, meaning I'll use hopefully dark enough of pencil lines. And again, a bit about the reference, lots of straight lines and curved lines that aren't easy to paint at all. It's a big challenge, and I hope to get these right, but you know, I'm not perfect either, so I'll definitely get some of these maybe a little crooked, but that's fine. Some people I saw asked about the side of the paper that I'm painting, and I'm alternating always between the two sides, so I'm not locked onto one of them. I think both can be used, and not enough people know that. You can pretty much use the front, the back. You'll find that there is a different texture to both sides, but they're both usable fully from my experience. It doesn't really matter in terms of the technique and the results you get. They're going to be good on both sides. Hair's a mess, just got out of the shower. Thursdays are my workout days, so what happens is I'll always try to do the workout before the live stream, because after it I'm done for the day. I don't feel like working out afterwards. And working after the live streams is a challenge too, because I'm like hyped and I've been talking a lot, so maybe today will be different. But so what happens is I work out, and then the last minute I go take a shower real fast and come on to the live stream, and so my hair is always a mess, so you'll forgive me about that. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to be completely silent today. I will talk, but you can kind of treat my talking more as me kind of entertaining myself and not necessarily aim towards explaining what I'm doing. So a bit selfish, I know. It's a bit selfish of me to work this way, but let me tell you what. I think seeing me work this way will help you better understand what it looks like when you're working slower and more focused. I think it may surprise some people, because when I work for myself, I'll go super slowly. I'll even lift the page. I'll try, like, let's move this here. I want this to be here. Blocks the view in an annoying way, and then we can move these here, and we're good. So yeah, when I paint for myself, I work slowly. I really get close with the reference. I do a lot of things that could stand in the way of giving a good demo. But my goal here is more today to show you how I paint when I'm really focused and go slower. Sometimes I speed up for demos. It happens. So we'll get to it. Let's see if there's anything else interesting in the chat, and we'll get started. The only difficulty is those curvy arches. Yeah, that's a tough spot. We have Zay Art. We have Cubs Win. It's been a while. We have 10-8 Day. Hey, Liron, how are you? I'm doing well. Thank you. Tarcisio Domante. Hi, Liron. Welcome back. Thank you so much. And by the way, thank you everyone for your patience. I know it took me a while to get started. It was late in like 5 minutes. I hate being late. Rena Flage, good afternoon from Jerusalem. First time watching you live, really learning a lot from your videos, so thanks very much. Thank you, James L. Baker here, sending greetings from London. Eli, thank you for sharing all the great reference photos, my pleasure. Dave says, I get up 3 or 4 a.m. to work out 6 days a week. That's insane. Wow, good job. It's been a while that I wanted to wake up earlier, but I never was disciplined enough to do it in the last couple of years. In the past I would. Kortko says, I'm just a beginner, so everything you do from the perspective looks so good. I have signed up for your drawing course. Thank you so much. Thank you. And John, thank you so much. Hopefully you'll enjoy this one too. And yeah, let's buckle up. I'm going to get started. So yeah, drawing first. And what I like to do is find different points that can help me relate. I'll actually measure like 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit. That's too short. So a bit more. So maybe around here. And then, so this is around the middle point. And it goes at an angle like this. And the middle is somewhere around here. So it's a little more to the left here. So if that's the middle, maybe around here. That's a line. Probably put some music for me in the background later. If something like logistically bugs you or you don't see something properly, just let me know, right? Because I may gonna put some music for myself. Okay. Let's see if it plays through my headphones and not through, yeah, that's good. Okay. So yeah. So we got this line here. This goes down. Kind of a third maybe. So that's a third. You see, I don't have to be 100% accurate here. But I'm somewhere in the ballpark. So I got the 3 kind of major lines there. And if I measure this one, it's about 2.5. Somewhere around here. I'm starting by eyeballing, but then I measure just to make sure I'm still close. And this is kind of parallel here. So it's going to be like this. One thing I do want to figure out is how I can put like background music while I do this kind of a thing. So that at least you can listen to something, you know. We'll figure it out. I'll do a break every once in a while. Look at me using a ruler. Who would have thought? Yeah, okay, that's good. Somewhere around here. Should I zoom in a bit? I'm not sure. Maybe so you get a bit of a better view. Just a bit. There we go. Good. So if I draw a spot at the same spot here, this is cool. I never used this kind of a way of doing it, but I can get the bottoms of the arches that way. So here we go. You know, trying to be as accurate as I can. It's not going to be 100% ever. That's fine. Like this is too strong of an angle here, so tone it down a bit. And we have those poles. That's one, I'm dropping sweat on the paper, almost. That goes here. And around the center. I'm gonna draw some grid lines to help me find my way around here. Maybe something like that. So we're looking from below, right? Here's the first arch, first of these nightmares, so I tried to get it with just a quick line. I marked the two spots here and here, and I just went for it. Hopefully that's close enough. It's funny. Got another one. And once I finish the drawing stage, I'll probably take a break and look at if you have any questions. I do want to answer questions. I just will do that in the breaks. Okay, that's kind of around here. There we go. Now I'll worry about these arches. So you see, this is interesting because the apex is about the middle point between the bottom of the arch and the top here. So if I find that middle point, like this, I can hopefully find the top of the arch. Like this. And hopefully I'm not too off, but it will happen, of course. Switch to a thinner pencil. Middle point is here. So, something like that. Gets us here. See what a tough curve that is? It's really unnatural, you'd think. Like right here. This is so unnatural, and you'd be shocked at how skewed these curves are. So yeah. And you can take a more loose approach with these, but I do want to make sure that I kind of put everything in the right spot, so I'm not. But generally, I will take a more lenient approach with those. For this one, for example, I don't have to measure anything. I'll just go like this, because it's kind of just going off the edge of the frame, so it's okay. This. And in the center, we have this pillar. It's kind of okay. Do some cleanup. And then we'll go parallel to the first line I put here. This should be a little longer. Go up. Like that. Good. Let's sharpen this. But you see, I'm almost done. This one's kind of messed up, so I'll probably redo it. Actually, redo it now. This is, believe it or not, almost a horizontal line at first. And I think the top point should be here, a little more to the left. And then it'll go like this. I think that's a little better. This curve in particular is going to drive me crazy. I can already see it. Something like this. Or you know what I can do? Let's try something here. I'm going to trap it in kind of a square here or whatever. It reaches all the way to the edge. This goes to the top here. So if I were to find the center point of this square, of this rectangle, I'll try. It'll be somewhere around here. So that actually looks okay. Interesting. Oh, worst case, it's not going to be fully accurate. That's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. Hopefully it'll still look good. I'm going to add the three-dimensionality of this arch by using a parallel line. It kind of disappears here. Like that. And we have this fence here. Fence on the other side. Let's get rid of these guidelines. Okay, so actually I think I'm done here in terms of the drawing. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to look at some of your messages, some of the chat. We'll see how it goes. Maybe most people bailed, I don't know. But what I want to do is kind of shadow map. So I'm going to look at this and put down where the shadows are. It's fairly simple in this one because they're mostly within these closed off areas. So within the windows, so to speak. Just so that I can see it a little easier once I start painting those shapes. Now one more thing to notice is the left sides of these poles are also in the shadow, but it's kind of a lighter shadow, so that's another thing to pay attention to. Now one last thing, I'm not crazy enough to try and paint around all of these small highlights that you see here, the bars essentially. So I'll paint this shape and negative, kind of leave this area blank, or I'll go over the whole thing and add it later with opaque paint. It's just going to be a complete nightmare to paint around, so I don't need to do that. So a couple more shadows, we'll look at the chats. Yeah, so I think we're good. Now let's see what you're saying here, and if you have questions, ask me now. I'll look at these. Richard, looking forward. Interesting composition. What made you decide on this one? Yeah, so I take my pictures the way I want to paint them already. So the composition is perfect when I get the picture taken. I think there is a good enough sense of depth in terms of like you can actually see things going away from us, which I love. The second thing, I love that there's this strong contrast between the light and shadow. However, you can still see within the shadows, and if I stretch out the reference photo here, you'll see you can see some details inside the shadows, especially on the left. It's misleadingly light. Okay, so I love that kind of effect. And lastly, the sky against the wall that's kind of yellow, that's genius. Like, I love that. Now, when you look at the black and white version, you'll be surprised to see that the sky isn't that dark. When I initially looked at this area, I was like, so the sky is a super dark blue, whereas the building is really warm. But that's not really the case, that warm and light. But again, you see, these are pretty similar. Very similar values, these two. So just another thing to have in mind, there's a lot of kind of optical illusions at play whenever you're painting. Now, one cool thing I'll try and do is I'll see if I can create some interesting cool shadows on these poles and contrast them maybe with this as a warmer shadow, which, by the way, should go like this. There's a kind of diagonal. This isn't a shadow, I just now noticed. But in any case, let's see what else you have here, and then when I paint, I'll go probably more silent. Rachel M, a ruler is allowed, yeah. Kelvin, always heard people say ruler are cheating. Nah. Especially for longer straight lines. Wonky buildings are cool too. Dana, use whatever you want. Art is just art, not a test or something. Yeah, for sure. Christine Bourgeois, I'm painting a cupcake, going to my brother for supper, and he asked me to bring you dessert. Cool. It's absolutely fine if you draw the line with your hand and correct with a ruler. Yeah, I do that a lot actually. Camel Artists Watercolors, heard of them for sure. Thank you, Raul. Love watching your sketch process, how you calculate. I'm not that confident, I trace. That's fine. I trace a lot too. Interesting, it seems like the drawing camera is lagging. I always heard the drawing audio before. Oh, interesting. Huh. Nightmares, 7 nightmares on one composition. Yeah, I probably would have abandoned already. Nah, it's far from me wanting to abandon this one. Why would you abandon it? This is why I usually don't draw buildings. It's too easy to turn into architectural drawing. Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to get too caught up in the drawing stage. The end goal is to do a painting, you know. But yeah. It's a very interesting composition. I look at it now through the screen a bit zoomed out. It's really interesting. Let's see. Very tricky, thought it was easy. Yeah, and you have to really learn what guidelines work for you. To draw these arches, the main thing I would say is to, again, constrain them in a square. Like this. Oh, by the way, let me know if it's incredibly boring to just look at me paint. I'm curious to hear. So let's say you've trapped it in this kind of a square, and you decide that this is where the arch begins, and this is where it meets the top. Let's just use that as kind of an example, okay? So to apply it to perspective, you have to use the same square. So in this example, we have something like this, a very extreme perspective, right? Something like that. Now, how do you translate this into that? So you have to do the same thing. Find the connect the corners, crisscross. Then use this to find the center, so you follow the same perspective, see? So that's the center. And because of perspective, it looks like this part is longer because it's closer to us. So that's that. And then the center point that way is going to be where the arch starts. And then the tricky part is to figure out what it looks like, right? So you really have to think about it. If you take this and you bring it over to the side and kind of bottom, what would it look like? So it's going to be stretched further here and squeezed more here, you see? And I actually got it a little better in this one, I think, than in the painting itself. But that's fine. And then if you want to get the inside of it, you just do kind of a parallel thing. So this goes here, or maybe here rather. And you just follow it parallel, right? Until you basically get stuck in this line, you know, because you can't go any further. See? And you follow the perspective. And all of this is in the shadow. So that's how I kind of do it. And you can apply this to any angle, even straight ahead but from below, right? So you'll have the centers here and go like this, right? So hopefully that gives you something in addition to the demo. So that even if I don't talk much today, at least you kind of get an understanding of how that works. So let me know if that's helpful. 83 watching and only 30 likes. Come on, let's fix it. Thank you so much, Frozen Freeze, for that support. If you can like the video, it'll help more people join and find out. Can you do a tutorial today itself of how to draw a peacock feather bookmark? I have a competition after 10 hours at my school. Please do. Oh, well, I don't know if I can improvise that kind of a thing. Peacock feather bookmark. That's a very specific request. I'm not even sure what it looks like, but maybe I'll Google it later. Remind me about it, please, Frozen. Hey, Clip Art, how are you? Digestion Mori, love the arches, so clean, thank you. Calvin Zero, I hate drawing arches, they always look wrong to me. Let's see, let's skip ahead a bit. Ridan wants me to say their name. Here we go, Ridan. Yeah, I'll paint the whole thing and add white later. Yep. Can you tell which colors you're using now? Yeah, I'll let you know. And thank you for saying it's never boring, Dave. Much appreciated. Really enjoy the thought process and problem solving. Thank you so much, Christine. Joined a little late, but hey, Niver, you haven't missed any painting. We're just getting started here. So let me think, because I want to rearrange some stuff so that you see everything and I don't have to be worried. I think this is okay. I think you see stuff okay like that. So I'm going to get started with the painting. The colors I'm using are pretty much the same as always. I'm going to be using a lot of French ultramarine for the sky. I'm going to be using yellow New Gamboge. Yellow ochre I ran out of. Maybe I'll refill it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just use the New Gamboge. Yeah, I think I'll just use that. And then I'm going to incorporate some red onto it. Now, for this particular painting, I'm actually going to do an initial wash that covers everything up. Okay? I don't always do it, but this time it feels like the right move. And again, a lot of it is very intuitive, I think, so I can't really explain, and a lot of it is a matter of choice. So let me gather my thoughts here, and I'll see how I want to tackle this one. course, I ran out of water in the sprayer. Let me fill it just one moment. I want to make sure I have enough to go with. Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. Can't without the sprayer. Sometimes I see the... Oh yeah, okay, that's good, that's good. There we go, much better. Pre-wetting it a little helps the paint reawaken. Now I'm not worried about perfect colors. I care more about the organic feel of the entire painting. Okay? So something to have in mind. The red I'm using is Parallel Red, by the way. Dumb down the sides here. Not as warm. Strong punch of red. Just because I feel like it, really. That wash is like meditation, honestly. It's just putting things on the paper. You don't need to think too much about it. It's just fun. And notice how I left a bit of a gap here just for fun. Just to control where the blue seeps into the yellow. Yeah, this is pretty much a nice little first wash. It means nothing, this wash, so don't worry if you messed something up. It really means nothing as long as you didn't go super dark. We can still do a lot, okay? So for the next one, we'll start painting the shadows. Now, I think I'll use the hairdryer to make sure it dries evenly, and then I'll be back. I'll mute myself and I'll answer some questions. Yeah, so that's close enough. Okay. So let's see what you're saying here in the chat. And we'll continue. Yeah, so again, to reiterate the colors, it is an Indian Yellow, Perylene Red, and French Ultramarine. Kui says, first time in the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Courtquest says, looks okay from this angle. David Green, okay, I gave you a like. I'm watching on TV, so I had to go to computer to do it. Thank you so much. Yeah, the interface on all smart televisions, I hate it. I never feel comfortable with it. And it may even be impossible to like there, so yeah. Thank you so much for the extra effort. I really do appreciate it. Handy says, probably asked before, but can anyone suggest a good medium to small size plein-air watercolor book? Medium to small size plein-air watercolor book. So do you mean like an actual sketchbook? Calvin Zero, well, gotta go now, Nightle. Good night. KJCO says, are all your watercolors Daniel Smith? The French Ultramarine is Daniel Smith. The Indian Yellow is White Knights, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's White Knights. There it is. White Knights. There you go. French Ultramarine is Daniel Smith, and Perylene Red is Daniel Smith too. And it's gonna be over soon. Is that my Perylene Red? I sure hope not. But yeah. No, I should have a lot more of it somewhere here. These are colors that I use a lot recently. Just because they're easy, they work well together, I think. Really need to use my blow dryer when I paint because I have no patience. Yeah, for sure. And why wait? I mean, if you can not wait. Rachel M. Hi, Liron. Is the underpainting more to temperature than local color? Yeah, for sure. The colors, I'm not gonna do like sorry, I read another comment. I'm not gonna follow the local colors I see there accurately in this one. But I do see, this is a good observation. Witty Air says, the sky looks a bit more than right angle. Yours not. Why? Because I messed it up. Because it should be. It should be a bit of a more open angle. Yep, you're right. I went with measurements and I lost track of like the overall thing. Yeah, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, it should be. I'm trying to figure out, so if it's 90 degree and you look at it from below, yeah, it should definitely be more open. Yeah, but that's fine, that happens. It's a mistake, that's why, that's the answer basically. Raul says shalom, thank you Raul. Haniche, yep, to paint in. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure I have a good answer for that. Because I've been using Michael Solovyev's one, but it's not something you can get off stores. Clip art. You're using the dry on dry technique for this painting? Yeah, I did this one dry on dry. I don't know if there will be, wet on dry. I'm not sure if there will be wet and wet later, we'll see. Is Perylene Red cool or warm color? I would say it's kind of neutral, actually. It's hard to say. I think it veers more towards the cool, but very slightly. It's I think, more natural than, or neutral rather than anything else. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the next wash, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll open up the photo here on my computer too, just to have it a little larger. Let's see here. It's gonna take me a while to get used to just painting, really, and not talking and not like anything like that. I want to take more of that kind of selfishness in a way, just to make sure that I'm able to focus fully. Same 3 colors, by the way. Same 3 colors I've been using so far. If I'll use anything else, I'll hopefully remember to tell you. And if not, ask. So you see, that's a tough angle, so I'm going to rotate it probably. Yeah. touch darker. It needs to be. That's good. There we go. So here I'm going to need a lot of water. This is a big, big shape. Yeah, it looks nice on camera because I wasn't looking all this time. I was looking at the reference photo. Gonna have to improve this wet and wet, not wet and wet, but rather a smooth transition. Good. So it's like going underwater and then kind of coming back because I have to focus. So we'll get to see the first kind of bit of wet and wet here in just a moment. I'll go over the top section with a bit of blue. Did I just run out of music? Did my playlist just end? And then you get a nice little temperature difference there. And we can continue. Got this interesting shape here. Look at these patterns, it's really nice. I'm gonna get this lower section first. I decided to leave a small thin highlight for a part of that rail or fence and get the bars later on, so we'll see how that will work out. Yeah, I ran out of music. I have to continue watching. YouTube's going crazy. Good. Now let's see if I can already combine that kind of a shadow on the side of the pillar, like this, and then kind of help it blend a bit. May take a few attempts. And of course the lower section here is really important. The worst case is when you have to mix more paint and part of the wash is gonna dry. That's really stressful. So there's a pattern here, but I don't know how much of it I'll be able to capture. Let's do it this way. Good. Let's start with blue and see what happens. Or no, you know what? Let's flip it here. It faces the other side, so I have a warmer shadow here. So check this out. I'm going to use a bit of a warmer shadow up top. And then as it goes deeper, I'm going to make it cooler. So we'll see how that goes. And the inside should actually be darker. We'll see if I manage to make that kind of effect happen. So you see it's kind of reversed from the left side, which is interesting, an interesting effect. Cool, warm, warm, cool. You know what? Maybe that'll be the rail. Yeah, that's good. Going around that bump here, very important. That. Hopefully you can tell the difference. I think I'm getting a result that's a little improved as opposed to when I focus more on explaining every step. So though I find that when I actually verbalize my thoughts in these live streams, it actually helps me produce a better results. because I think about every little thing I'm doing. I'm just more thoughtful. So it's an interesting trade-off where, yes, it does influence my results, sometimes not for the better, but on the other hand, it helps me in my result, because I focus more on every single thing I'm doing. So, who knows, you know? So this is cool. Top part will be sharp, and I'm only gonna blend the bottom part here. And then we'll get this nice pattern here, really beautiful, like that. Goes around, casts a shadow. Good. We forgot that kind of a thing here. This goes warm again. And then gets cooler. But still quite liquid and flowy. And I think I'll take a break after this one to maybe take some questions and see what you're saying. And yeah, I missed the rail here, but that's fine. It's a smaller section, so I'll be good. 1 second. Gotta lift that bit here. I'll give you a closer view of the results so far too. So here's what we got so far. I think it looks really good. Putting the arches that are closer to us will put it in a clearer context. Also adding the fences will put it in a clearer context, so we'll see how it goes. Also adding the few of the breaks and stuff like that will kind of solidify it. Okay, but I think it looks pretty good now. So let's see what you're saying. So we stopped with Qui, first time on this stream. Thank you so much for being here. Courtois says it looks okay. David, give me a like. Arch, as before. Handy says, appreciate the last vid on motivation, Liron. More of a sustainable mindset. Yeah, to just making a habit of painting rather than rely on muse and inspiration. Yeah, I have to share with you. So today, for example, I'm working on a story for my comic. And every single day for the last week and a half, I don't feel like writing. Writing scares me more than drawing. And you know what I do? I just get started. I write a scene. I'm at a point where I'm turning my scenes into something a little more detailed, but I'll explain about it in a different opportunity. But I just get started, and once I just force myself to do it, it just works. The first few sentences are a bit of a rough patch, but then it gets much better, and I'm much more on it. So I would say that's perfectly okay. If you don't feel like doing something, if you just push yourself to do it anyway, you will see, I think, some great progress in unexpected directions too. So it's okay if you start without motivation, but I bet that if you just get started, you will end up with motivation. So way to go, Hanny, for taking the advice, hopefully making use of it. One thing I noticed that's really interesting is if you compare mine to the colorful version, the blue is a bit lacking. But if I compare it to the black and white, it actually looks good. So it's a question of like how saturated you can get the paint while still maybe maintaining a light value. This could be solved very easily by just adding another glaze, which I may do, may not do. I'll kind of see how I feel like after I'm done with this, putting all the shadows and the different details in context. Maybe I'll feel like doing it, maybe I won't, we'll see. But I may very well add that, and we'll see how it goes. One more thing I noticed now is look at this, the left side of the wall, this part, even though it's lighter than the shadow here, it should actually be darker than the right side. So I'll probably go over this with a very thin glaze of yellowy, kind of slightly darker yellow, okay? You actually saw me doing something similar in another scene from Georgia that I did. Well, actually, we can do it now real quick. Let me show you. So I just need like a muted light yellow, like that. And I'll go back to seeing your chats in just a moment. But I want to do this while it's kind of fresh in my mind. Yep, so that's good. And I'm just going to darken this entire part. As long as you don't mess around with it too much and reawaken the paint, you're going to be okay. So, I don't know, that looked like the right move. We'll see what it looks like once it dries. I think it looks a little better now, a little clearer, the shape. But yeah. Is there another place to do that? In theory, I could do it here, but I think I'll let that part go. Which color are you using? So I said French ultramarine, Pearlin red, and Indian yellow. Are you going to the primary colors to make the shadows or an actual black? Yeah, I'm using just the primary colors for everything. As you can see, I'm mixing everything with them. And if I do use black, I like the neutral black, which is usually composed of like Quinacridone Rose and some kind of a black and some kind of brown for what I see. Shubham says, quick question, Liron. When do you prefer to use wet on wet? So I actually explained it in the last video, but I'll use wet and wet if I really have to get a smooth transition in an area where I feel like I can control it well. But most cases I won't. And you can see it in the video I did, just the last one. When you started mixing, you could see what you're using. Yeah, no worries. Looks great so far. Thank you so much, Dave. Summer says, I'm from India. Cool. A lot of Indian representation we have usually in the live streams. Happy about that. Vespa, just beautiful. Love the colors you chose. Thank you. Ishita says, wow. Thank you so much. Voice says, neat so far. Did you choose not to include the vaults inside to simplify the picture? So when you're saying vaults, I'm not sure what you refer to. Let me see if I can see it in the actual... The vault, so I know of a vaulted ceiling. I'm not sure what a vault is in that regard, so let me know. My architectural knowledge is still limited. But yeah. Looks so beautiful, and like the photo, my brother. Thank you so much, Co-MC. John says it's great to see the amount of focus you have and actually the speed you paint. Do you do anything different when you do commissions? So, yeah, it's a good question. When I do commissions, imagine what you're seeing now, even more in slow motion. So I'll work as fast as necessary for the paint, but I'll work much slower, to really make sure everything is right and to really put everything in the right spot. By the way, this made a big difference. Can you see? I think it was an important move, and I'll actually do it for the other one too. Wasn't expecting it to look this good. So let's do it here as well. But yeah, just slower for commissions. Even slower for commissions. I don't take many commissions though. Can we send works for critique in the meantime? Yeah, sure, send me some works for critique. I'm not going to do it live, but you can send them and I'll do them in the next critique vid. You can send it to Liron at lironian.com. So send stuff here. Liron at... Just not spam. As long as you don't send spam, you're good. Eli, I think I can appreciate just seeing the brush strokes and focusing on just that is actually useful in my opinion. Yeah, and you'll notice I rotate the page a lot. Courtway, I'm amazed by the process you use when choosing colors and values. Yeah, it's fun. A lot of it is intuitive again and not like too calculated, you know. Jack Van Delft. Hi Liron, my first time to follow your live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Catching this live. I like your YouTube. YouTube is learn a lot. Much appreciated you watching the videos, really. Thank you so much. What type of watercolor paper you use? So this one's actually Saunders Waterford, thanks to John, who sent me like a huge block of it. It's super duper useful. I know I have some questions to answer, John. I will get back to you, I promise. But I love both, like the cold press, hot press even, for this particular paper. It's really good. Sorry, Liron, I have to leave later on. No worries, world. I'll see you later or in another one. And you can watch it after the fact, of course. I'm not sure how to pronounce for the soup. For how much longer will you approximately paint? Thinking about getting out my stuff and painting something as well. So I think for about 50 more minutes. Then I have to get ready for some other stuff. So about 50 more minutes. I'm not sure we'll finish it because of that. We'll try. We'll try taking this all the way till the end. We'll see. Even if I have to work faster near the end. Kartika, hi Liron, the shadow looks great. Are you painting the details and the big shapes to get everything in one go? No, I'm actually, so the details that, here's how I think about it. The details that touch the shadow, I will paint. But these details on the walls that are isolated, I'm waiting with. I'm not doing them yet. This, for example, does touch the shadow, so I got it in. But again, for the most part, I'm only painting what really touches the shadow. If something like this, that's a detail, and I'm gonna edit later on, it doesn't touch it, so I won't edit for now. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So, I think the contrast between the earthy and blue color work very well. It's not hard. It's not a hard, but still consistent contrast. Yeah, for sure. I love that. It reminds me of the Alhambra for some reason. I just joined, not sure where the place is, but the Alhambra could be of interest to you. Cool, I'll Google it now. I think I know what it is, but I'll Google it so that I have the Google search for later. Yeah, Marjorie almost missed today. I'm sure everybody learned much. At least I can watch later, but I feel left out of the party. No, don't feel left out. We're getting started. Welcome aboard. Architectural vaults are the rounded ceiling inside. Yeah, okay. They're really, yeah, I wouldn't even notice. So I know what a vaulted ceiling is, but I don't see it here, honestly. So maybe I'm not experienced enough to recognize it. But yeah, I love vaulted ceilings. Actually, I have a good example from the manga Berserk of vaulted ceilings that blows my mind how he drew it. It's amazing. What happened to your gouache journey, Ron? It's non-existent, I suppose. I don't do gouache at all. Maybe in the future, yeah. So we'll get started with the next stage. So here's our next thing. We're gonna add this one, okay? And this is much warmer. It's closer to us. The light, it actually looks warmer. So I'm gonna try and recreate that effect, okay? So I'll start with some yellow, some red. I like to start with like the main color I see and then dumb it down. So a lot of yellow and a lot of red will produce this beautiful orange, and then I can dumb it down with some blue, okay? And it looks like really I dumbed it down, but let's see. So yeah, it's still quite warm, I think. Let's add some water, see what it looks like. And maybe a bit more yellow just for the fun and for exaggerating it, because we're already pretty much exaggerating a lot of the temperatures here anyway. A bit more red. That looks good to me. Let's see. I have to rotate again. That just may well be the biggest takeaway from this one, is that I rotate a lot when I'm painting just for myself, not a demo. So here's something fun. I think I'll leave a bit of a highlight here for this thing, this fence thing. Even though it's not really there. I don't know, maybe it'll help us later or look good. Worst case, we can get rid of it later. And close off the left section so that it's not close to the edge of the painting. But you saw how quickly I got it in, this detail? And by the way, I think I made a mistake and it should go a little lower. So let's do that. The shadow, that is. Like that. And I actually don't even have to do anything here. I can, but I don't think I have to. Let's see. Let's do this, keep it wet for a little longer. Let's maybe darken just a bit of it here. Like that. Just to kind of close off the painting's left side, I guess. And, most important, connect it with this shadow here at the bottom. And then off to this side. That was a little careless. Lucky I got it kind of okay. Regardless, it should be like this maybe. Okay. And now for the next one. A little bit cooler. It looks a little cooler to me, so I'll go with that. One brush mark. If you can. Good. And maybe a bit of a shadow up top here. Kind of let it flow and do whatever it wants to do. I don't know why it felt a little darker. And for the last one, we're going to start super warm and a little bit light and then go a little cool and dark. So this is the warm. And here's our blue, or cooler. Real fast before this dries. There we go. And we're pretty much done with the major shapes. So you see we got everything here, all the windows and whatnot. This is a little bit of a... This bodes trouble. Unnecessary highlights, I'll get rid of them. Like this. And maybe we'll give this a bit of a, kind of help it blend together a bit more. And yeah, I think this is, we'll add a shadow here once it dries just like this. And we'll add the additional details. And I have exaggerated a lot of the temperatures here, you'll see. My yellows are yellower and my blue is not as blue, but that's fine. Let's see what else you're saying in the chat. For soup, I should change that name back. Then YouTube would not let you change your name, and it literally means horse soup in German. Pferdesoup? I tried so many usernames and all were taken, and I was just desperate. It's funny. Jay Kishan says so good. Thank you so much, Jay. So yeah, I'll continue. I see people are watching and enjoying. Hopefully, I'll continue. What should we do next? Maybe I'll dry it a bit. Let me just give it a bit of a drying session real quick. 1 second. Yeah, we're good. So, let's get started with the details on the walls. I'm going to use a thin sword brush, the Perla 1/4 inch Escoda. And let's see what we produce here. In terms of values and all of that, here it's pretty, not values, but temperature. Here it's pretty simple. I just want kind of a gray, maybe a bit warm, but just a bit warm. And because it's such thin lines, it doesn't matter as much, see? So I can use pretty much whatever temperature I want, but I don't want it to contrast too badly with the wall, so yes, I will go for a little bit of a warmer thing here. As for the value, they aren't that dark. So I'm going to add a bit of water to that in just a moment. They aren't that dark, actually, surprisingly. So this a little lighter and it will work. Yeah, that's good. And a good way to go about this would be to start from the things that are closer to us, and then working your way towards the up and back. Because then you start with the things that are actually visible, aka closer to us. Compositionally, you'll see more details there. And then slowly get to the areas that it'll go a little lighter on, or not even include some details. So I think that's a good approach. And always remember your perspective. It's sometimes easy to forget. Try to remind yourself, and putting this grid that we put earlier can really help. And the bricks aren't perfect, so yes, some of them are going to go a bit away from the, move away from the perspective. You know. So you see how for this section I'm really following what I see? So I'm really adding most of it, but for the next ones I'll go a little easier on the details. But it does give it some kind of a solidness, right? I think it looks good. This shadow should be a little bigger, so let's go like this. There are a few corrections, minor corrections to do later on. Maybe we will do them. Feels like it should be warmer. So more red, more yellow, and we'll see. And I'll show you a really cool trick to make these pop more in just a second. I think you'll like it. So here. It's a bit hard to see, but you'll notice that where the shadow is right underneath it, there are areas that are a little lighter because they're catching the light. So the way you can convey this is if you just add a bit of a light, kind of like this gel pen, under the shadow. Kind of like this, where it catches the light. You see the effect it creates? I think that's really cool. And use it kind of, you know, in just very few areas. Don't overdo it. We'll see how it works. We'll see if we want to do more of it later. But I think it looks really cool. Makes it pop a bit. But definitely not something you want to overdo. And this part may not be as interesting, you know, jokingly I say, because it's actually really fun and it's easier. It's this stage where you can just add all of these small fun touches there without the pressure of having to be super accurate, because you already have most of this stuff drawn and painted, and you don't have to worry about proportions or things like that as much. It's more about the balance, I would say, in this stage. And always be aware of that perspective. You see, I'm kind of getting some parts a little off, not enough to be really noticeable, but still. Use this, for example, as reference. You see it, you can continue it, and you'll get the perspective. And then it goes a little more like that. See? Like that. So you have to always think about these things. But yeah, I think that looks nice. And I don't want to overdo it. Like here, I feel like a lot of these are fragmented. Let me spray them a bit. Gonna help them move around. Just feels like they're like a lot of small lines that don't touch each other, and I don't like that. Bit of a hint here. Let me skip to the next song. Good. And we can do the same for the very top section. First I have to skip this Adobe ad. So let's go lighter here where it's farther away. So I added a bit of water. Good. And let's see what we can get away with. We don't need much here, I think. The only risk you're running is making the painting look a little stale and motionless if you do too much of this. So just something to be aware of, okay? Let's see what this looks like from afar. Ah, that's actually good looking. So now I'm kind of improvising. I'm not looking at the references much. Yeah, that's good. Let's see what we need on this end. I mostly see these, let me rotate this a bit. I mostly see these very thin lines running across. Barely visible, to be honest. Yeah, and I think that's actually good enough. Maybe just show a hint of that curve here. Around this arch. Like that. And we're almost done. So let's darken this spot here, which is the next thing I said I'll do. Very light, warm color. Just to differentiate it from the right side there. Good. Now there is another side to doing these details of the bricks. Because you have to remember, these bricks go like this and then they continue. So that's the next kind of thing to do. Draw the shadowy part of them. Okay, and we're going to drop a few, not many here as well. It's very visible. See? These kind of shapes. So let's see how it goes. You know, let me see what you're saying in the chat and then we'll continue. I think people are enjoying, so I'm happy to hear. I should change we'll read that. Do you have any suggestions on how to approach architecture when learning? Kind of always shy away from it and end up just winging it while focusing mainly on living creatures. So I would say start with simple shapes like 3D boxes, which is something I hope people aren't bored with. But what I always recommend is you practice just drawing a box in perspective as much as possible. And if you can do that a lot, every single day, tens of times, you will get better. And then imagine what would it look like if I rotate it. So if I rotate it this way, imagine this line becomes more like this. So let's just start and see what we get. This line moves more into the distance, so it goes a little like this, right? These lines work like that. The bottom is the same kind of perspective, so maybe something like this. And this is what you'd get if you rotate it, okay? That's what you want to learn how to do. At first it'll be very hard. So just use a real cube, move it around and draw it. This will 100% translate to this. I promise you. You just have to get going and working on it, okay? Let me play around with the blinds because there's this weird light here. It always comes up now. So we'll see if I can get rid of it. Yeah, I think that's better. Let's see. It should go automatically. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so I think that's a little better. Sorry, I know it's always like that, that awkward like. But in any case, yeah, do this and then learn how to rotate it up and down. So if you rotate it in this direction, what will happen then? This line will flatten a bit, right? You'll see less of this line, so it'll kind of go like that. And so you see less of that top plane. And this line would go a little like this. This line at the back. Like this. Like that, you see? I kind of exaggerated the left side a bit too much, so maybe like that. That's if you rotate it up, okay? So you want to do that. That will 100% translate to better architecture. You have to start from the very basics. Vespa, Liron, can you please show us that tiny spray you used? Was it nasal spray? It wasn't nasal spray, it was like a stay spray. I think it's like a makeup setting spray, probably for makeup. And somehow that ended up being like the best one I've been using. And it did smell like what was originally in it, I will admit, which was really nice, even after cleaning it. But now the smell is gone completely. It took like a year, but now it's gone. So yeah. I saw you have some videos up on the topic, and we'll check them out later. First time I come across your channel, love it. Thank you so much. That's really cool. When people like discover the channel with the live streams, that always makes me happy. Because it's like real time. I see new viewers. So thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Jan says, nice work, love it. Or John, sorry. I never know how to pronounce the J's. Dave says, thank you so much for this live. I was actually in Buxton on the weekend and took some pics of the pavilion, and it had lots of these arches. Maybe I'll try and paint. Yeah, definitely. And send it over. I'm curious to see, because I don't know where that is. So interesting. Courtois is not my name, just a name I can change. Yeah, everyone can't change their usernames. That's annoying. Court for Courtney. Oh, okay. The town I was living in, and Qua, the first 3 letters of my last name. It just stuck. I moved almost 50 years ago. That's cool. Van Damme says, hi bro. You will Adamas. How do you catch motion or the illusion of it, in your opinion? It depends on what medium you're using. So with watercolor, a way of catching motion would be like what I like to do with taillights. If I want to show they're in motion, is something like this. So let's say a car is moving towards us. So I like to go with the taillight, or away from us, the taillight, and then to show the direction. Okay? Just an example. Whenever you blend lines in a way like this, it may lead to a look of speed or whatever. Now, if you're talking about drawing, it will be more of like a stylistic choice, but I love what they do in mangas where they actually show the lines contort. Like they'll actually have either speed lines, or they take the actual shape and contort it a bit. Like imagine that's a baseball or whatever, and it's flying through the air, right? If you can imagine that, you know? So they'll actually contort the shape. That's really cool. So there are plenty of ways to get a feeling of motion. It really will depend on the medium. So I'd say depending on what you use and what you enjoy. Maybe I can do a video on that, because I don't think I ever talked about that. Rachel M, I like the details are incomplete. It looks more natural, definitely. I'm funny, says looks so good. Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you. Incredible work, Liron. Thank you so much. Richard. MB, what kind of colored pens do you use? So these are just the normal pens that came with the palette. I'm just refilling them with my paints. So approach architecture, sprinkle salt on its tail. Funny. Ruth is sleeping here at the moment. She's chilling. I can try and show you. Hopefully it won't mess up everything. No, I can't. I'll show you near the end of the live stream. I promise I'll try. Practicing fundamentals a lot. Yeah, definitely. I tend to get a bit obsessive with things like that, so I will just finally plunge in fully and let my obsession then run its course. Yeah. Draw boxes till you can project them on paper when you can put anything in them in perspective. Yeah. So let's continue and take this to its completion. I think now is the time. Let me try and close it a little more here. This strip of light is going to drive me crazy. There we go. I think a lot better. So now we need to add all of these opaque paint details that I was too lazy to put in the last time. So let's go for that. That's actually another fun stage. So no complaints here. And by the way, sorry I moved the camera. Stop. Good. Good. Good camera. So let's see here. As I said, this tube leaked in the past, so I have to wrap it in tissue to make sure it doesn't keep leaking from the lower section. So let's clean up the brush and dry it. I don't know where that light comes from. That's so annoying. Okay. And we have to remember with these to follow the direction of perspective. Okay. And there are a couple of other tricks I'll show you in just a second. And yeah, I said I'll darken these sections. We'll do that too. So So you see how there's an interesting pattern here. I don't know if I want to get it like down to the T. That will be a little boring, but it's like there's a line, circle, gap, line, circle, and then another line. I can try getting a few of these in properly, and then I'll kind of just put the rest in, or I'll do a few select ones, and then the rest, like, I can wing one or two to just put them there. Or I can skip that circle if it bugs me. But whatever you do, make sure you follow the perspective. That's the one unbreakable rule here, if there is any, you know. Of course, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, so hopefully that looks good and that works. It's a bit hard for me to tell right now, but we'll see. Kind of messed up the perspective there. Should be more like this. I'll switch to a thinner brush, I think. Something like that. This is good. Kind of annoys me that I messed up the angle there. Let's try fixing it just a bit. There we go. I think that's a little better, but I'll stop here. I don't want to overdo it. And I'll show you how I do another cool thing, but I think for the light paint we're almost done. Maybe there's a touch of it here. in the pattern. A bit of it here in the pattern. A bit of it here that I missed earlier, that I tried and wasn't able to convey. And you can use it for the same purpose I showed you here with the opaque white. For areas that's, and I think it will do better actually than the white, because the white is too light. This is kind of slightly darker. Let me show you. Under the shadows, you put a thin layer of this. It will really make it pop out. Let me show you for one of these here. See? Under the shadows. Or to their left. Yeah, to their left. So here. Can you see that effect? I don't know. Let me see the video. Can you see how it kind of makes the bricks pop a little? Now I need my autofocus. I'll show you near the end. But yeah, we're really close. I'm just going to add a few small touches. And then we'll pick up the pace a bit. Yeah, I think that's good. Now we'll move on to the shadows within the shadows. These are very gentle, okay? And I want to keep them gentle. I want the shadows to be pretty vague, okay? I don't want people to see too much into them. And the moment you put something super dark there, it throws off the balance. So we're going to keep this one fairly weak and a bit on the cool side, I guess. Let's see how this mix I have here will work. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. And again, you don't have to draw each and every line. Just a few will kind of put it in the right spot. A few of these here. Here you barely see them. Maybe a bit of it here. Kind of like this. Very few. And I think we're really almost done here. What did I want to... Oh, yeah, I remember. So I wanted to add the dark areas on that kind of a rail here. And let me show you. Under the highlight, there's actually a shadow. I'll rotate it. Yeah. See? Like that. And to the left. So that'll mean here. And then I can use this opportunity to fix some of the perspective where I messed it up a bit. Like that. And we'll do the same for all of the other ones. Let's get a bit of this dark paint here. Bit of water. And I think we're done. I'm sure there's something I forgot. Let me show it to you in this camera. Like, I'm sure there are things I forget. Sorry about the quality. I don't know why it's so bad. But overall, I like it. I like the way it looks. It's funny how when I compare it to the image is much brighter. But then when I compare it to this, it's kind of similar, especially in the top camera. Let me show you. Like the top camera, there's a lot of similarity here, as opposed to the actually comparing it to the photo just because of the way the camera shows things. But here's what I'm going to do, I think. Should I go with another glaze over the sky? I think I will. I think I'll bring out a bit more blue, I guess. I really wonder because it does look similar in value, but I will go over it once again just to bring out a little more blue. Now I only need blue for this weird wash I'm going to do now, so I'm going to have to clean well. Just a bit. Like that. And we'll just basically do another glaze on top of the existing one. Let me squeeze out the paint from the brush, help it get rid of the rest of the colors I don't need. And just get started here with blue. We'll do another thin glaze. I kind of went light and darker as we moved down, but here I'll just cover it with a flat one. Now the risk when doing this is that it'll make it less blue or you'll mess something up, but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be fine here. Let's test it out. This is good, I think. Let's change the angle so that it moves. And once it dries, we'll figure out if it was the right move. I'm going to dry it real quick with the hairdryer. So yeah, I think that was a good idea. I'm happy with that. Just brought out a little more contrast. And I think that's it. I think we've reached the end. Was there anything else I wanted to do? I don't really remember. But I think this is it. I don't want to put too much stuff in the shadows. Let me show it to you a bit up close and we'll add auto zoom. Just so that you can see some more details. And then I'll take some questions and stuff if there are any. 1 second. Come on. Do the autofocus for now. Here we go. So I'll just try and hold it steady. So this is the final result we got. I like it. I like these sections a lot. And now let me show you. Let's get rid of the reference here because I just want to show you the painting. It's just super dark. Maybe I can open the blinds now. Just a second. Okay. I think now it's better. There is a bit of light there. But yeah, my webcam isn't the best, but I think that works out. I can take a picture and maybe like upload it, put it next to me. Let's do that. I'll do that. Take a picture in good light though. Just give me a second. Yeah, okay. Okay, so there was a weird issue with the volume, I think, but it's fine. So yeah, I'll send it over, put it on the screen, and then I'll look at some questions and we'll see. Let's see here. That's good. I'll rotate it so that it comes up correctly and not rotated. Here we go. Okay. Sorry for the delay. By the way, if you're wondering, I'm listening to some music in the background. I'm actually listening to Bleach soundtrack, the anime. If you remember that kind of a thing existed. The resize is so clumsy on the OBS software. Sorry about that. There we go. So that's the painting. I don't know why it's a little blurry in the picture, but hopefully that gives you some idea of what it looks like in real life. Now I'm going to sign it and remove the tape, okay? Last time I forgot to remove the tape, my bad. We'll let it dry for a few more moments and then we'll do it. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. Okay. Let's see here. The first column on the left and all it's... yeah, I absolutely will remove the tape. Yeah, Dana, thank you for reminding me. So yeah, Richard, the first column on the left and all its surround is the most outstanding part of the painting for me. Great job. Thank you so much. Now let me see here. Yeah, I like that section a lot. I think it connected really nicely, including the gradual transition there. I also really like the bottom, like right here. Bottom to the left, where that bar is right here. I like that section too. By the way, here's a comparison of the webcam and the thing. It's so bad. OP bro. That's overpowered, I think. Marjorie would really appreciate learning how to paint flying birds. That actually looks like they're moving. Mine look like I copied a photo, which I did. Yeah, that's also with the swoosh. Vespa says, people click the like, thumbs up for Liron. Thank you so much. And by the way, I see people having nice chat, nice conversation in the chat. That's a good one for like when I'm not talking, and hopefully it's not too boring again. Thank you for staying here. How often do you live stream? I would like to set alarm for next one. Yeah, so it's every Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. That's how I usually go about it. It's 4 p.m. my time, local time here in Tel Aviv, but it's 9 a.m. Eastern time every Thursday. I've been pretty consistent at it, so yeah. Alessandro says, buy his frustration-free watercolor course. It's good and quite cheap. Look in the description. Thank you so much. Rabia Asi. Oh, Asi Rabia says Totach, which is a cannon in Hebrew, but it's a slang for like awesome dude. Good job. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Artistic Druin. Tiwari, hello. Sorry, I can't read. Mary Freedom. I'm a fan of your works as if they're alive. Oh, thank you so much. Ambi, so beautiful. Tomtly Studio. Yeah, you should. I forgot what it was, but I remember saying it. Oh, maybe I removed the tape. Fur the Soup says, hi, I tried to send you an email, and for some reason I got a damn it's saying your inbox is full. Oh, that's bad. I'll empty it. Not sure if my... it shouldn't be full, because I empty it regularly, though it's always up there on the 90% full. But so here's what you'll do. I'm going to write it down for myself to empty my mailbox. Empty mailbox. All you have to do is wait like 2 hours and then send it over. I'll empty it. Or maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow is better. Just send it tomorrow, and it will already have been emptied by then. Sorry about that. Manech, hi Liron. Hello Liron, it's me, Ariel from the Philippines. Nice to be here again watching you paint. Thank you so much. Yeah, I remember you, Manech. Thank you for being here again. John says, thoroughly enjoyed today's live stream, Liron. Challenging subject and an awesome result. Would love more of these. Will do. So my thought originally was to just give these live streams as extra. So when I'm working on a drawing or a painting, even stuff for the manga or doing anatomy studies like I always do, I thought to just turn on the camera and not think about it, like kind of maybe talk once in a while, but just do my thing, and feel free to do that. So I wanted to do this live stream as a practice session. What I intend for it is to be extra, me just going click and live streaming. But this week I took away from the session that was supposed to be maybe more verbal. So hopefully the next time it's going to be like an additive, an addition. to the weekly videos and live stream, to do an extra one where I just show you what I'm doing, and there is no expectation that I'll explain too much. It's kind of like opening the window and letting you look through and see what I'm doing. So thank you so much for being here and for the kind words. It gives me encouragement to do these, and it will be as an extra in the future. Scars 1951, well cleaned, well. I will clean the well. Laura Mary feel late this morning, but I will watch from the beginning later. Thank you so much. Court says, love it with the darker blue. Thank you. Yeah, I think the darker blue went well. The painting is way more vibrant and lively and has much more character in the actual reference picture. Thank you so much. Verena Weber, really nice. Love it. Thank you so much. Lindy Ashford, I would have liked to see you work into the shadows a little more. Mainly to give more depth. Otherwise, really nice work. Thank you. Yeah, I went for something relatively shallow here. The maximum I did was like the actual... let me show you. The maximum I did was in the arches, and you can look at the picture to the left to see it better. Like, it starts lighter and then goes darker. But yeah, sometimes I will work more into the shadows. I often do that with portraits more because the nuance there does matter a little more. I'll work more and add more details into the shadows, but here it was more about that upper section and the inside. But yeah, I'll try doing more of that for sure, Lindy. Carolyn L, how about taking the tape off of the finished picture? I will do that now. Everyone's reminding me. Everyone's gonna be mad if I forget. Yuel Adamas, do you ever do realistic backgrounds and then add cartoon characters? Not really, but with the manga, I was hoping to go for a realistic style. So we'll see how that goes, how that comes together. We'll see. Minnie K, hi, I am first time in this channel. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Yuel says also Bleach is great stuff. Yeah, I was listening to. I can tell you exactly what I was listening to actually. It was the. Wow, a bunch of them. It's just a video. The last one I liked was Kingdom Treasure Stamp. I believe that's the one I was listening to. I also like the Attack on Titan main theme. It's so good. The only bad part is I have to skip the ads. But yeah. I try not to put ads in any of my new videos because it's just more fun for people. So let's see here. Miranda says, wow, thank you so much. Ginger Kelly, this is awesome. I love perspective. Minnie K, who is your role model in the field of watercolor? That'll be like Joseph Z or Alvaro Castanet, but role model implies that I'm trying to model my work after them, which I'm not. I'm trying to still develop my own direction. So yeah, 6 a.m. my time. Yeah, so that's early. Sorry about that, Court. Dave says, thank you so much for this live stream, Liron. Very useful. We'll have a go at this pic I sent you over to you, hopefully. Yeah, I'll check it out. And if it didn't say send it, then sorry, I must have taken less space on the email. Yeah, I'll clean it up. If anyone failed, the email failed, just send it again tomorrow, okay? Alessandro, which blue paint have you used for the sky? French Ultramarine. 10A Day, really love how you painted the bottom left pillar. Thank you so much. Scars, you gonna pull... Tuco, where you have to paint. I'm not sure I know the reference, but it's funny. Okay, so thank you so much. We're gonna wrap it up. No, I'm kidding. Let's remove the tape. Let's do this. Okay. Now I open the window so you see a little more, and I'll sign it. Let's sign it first. So I'm gonna sign it with my trusty gel pen because I'm too lazy to use anything else. So let's do it small here, or here maybe. Yeah, let's go here. Yeah, that last name never fits anywhere. But in any case, let's do this. Here we go. 1 out of 4. 2 out of 4. Already looks good. Three out of 4. Maybe I'll do for the next car I paint, I'll turn it on and do a live because cars really bring out something special, I think, in me. So we'll see. And specific scenes too. So here we go, 4 out of 4. Final result. I hope you enjoyed it. We have the autofocus on, right? So, and let's get rid of the reference. I mean, come on. Come on, reference. Move out of the way. So yeah, that's that. I think it looks really good without the border. Maybe I'll post a picture later on. Really clean. I actually like this section a lot. This one too. I like a lot of it. I think there are obviously some things to improve. But overall, I'm like 100% happy with this one. I wouldn't change anything really. I don't say that about every painting, but for this one, I'm pretty confident at it. I could add more details to the background, but actually I like the choice not to. And if we compare it to, let's say, the pictures. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Maybe I need to learn how to nail that bright blue, because it's just not French ultramarine. It should be something else. And that'll help it look maybe more like vibrant like that. But yeah, overall I really, really enjoyed this one. So let's see some final comments. Hopefully you enjoyed the tape removal. And then we'll wrap it up. Let's see here. Which blue paint you have used? Just answered. So I'm satisfied. I definitely try this painting. Go for it, Mini K. I have the link to the pictures in the description. Toko from the movie The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah, I'm so undereducated in films. My bad. Dave says, bravo, Liron. Dana says, amazing. Alessandro, could you please re-put the tape? Just kidding, joking. You did a really good job. Love the last touch for the fences. Thank you so much. Heat the tape up so it doesn't hurt paper. Yeah, so this paper is good, so it won't get hurt by the tape. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dave, I think Cerulean Blue may be a good choice. I actually bought a tube. It's what you see here. And I must admit, I think it was Cerulean. Yeah, I hated it. So this is Cerulean Blue. Daniel Smith. I love Daniel Smith, but this one doesn't work well for me. It's super patchy. It doesn't come out smooth. I don't know why. Unless it's like straight out of the tube. I didn't like this one. Maybe a more turquoise one. I'm not sure really, but I haven't nailed to this point the perfect blue for these kinds of skies. But I will. I'll continue making my research. Very nice, like a magazine page. Thank you so much. I did like this Cerulean Blue of Van Gogh. Much better. Maybe a cobalt cerulean. Yeah, could be. Could be Lindy. Great suggestion, actually. It's got turquoise and a bit of green in it. The sky, I mean. Yeah, maybe a turquoise would work well. We'll see. We'll see. So thank you so much. Much appreciate you being here. It's been a pleasure. It's been a good time. Let me switch over to my face as I say goodbye. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you so much for the kind words. This does give me inspiration and motivation to do more of these spontaneously. So hopefully you will gain from this. Saturday's video, I'm going to answer questions. So I basically printed out a bunch of questions from the comments and I'll just answer them. I think it's going to be a fun video. A lot of good topics that were asked about. And yeah, thank you so much. I will wrap it up now. Take care, stay safe, and I really hope to see you again on Saturday's video and also, of course, on the next videos and next live stream. Much appreciated. We'll talk again real soon.